Hey there, planners. I have a stack of Liberty Fabrics Hobonichi products here that I have acquired over the last couple weeks. I feel a bit like I've been stockpiling flowery Hobonichis, and I'm ready to talk about it. I'm going to go through what these are, why I purchased them, and what I'm thinking about doing with them in 2025. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. So no matter how much I vow to be unaffected by planner release season, it is the Hobonichi releases that get me every time. And this year is no different. Hence the reason I have a stack of Hobonichis here in front of me that I want to talk about today. So I'm going to go through what each one of these is, talk about why I'm purchasing them and what my initial thoughts are. I really want to hear your ideas and thoughts too. I'd love to have you weigh in on my planner system for 2025, but I could not help myself but buy these products. So let me just start by talking about this design. So I'm going to pop a picture in here of the 2024 Hobonichi design called Liberty Fabrics, and it is a flower pattern. When I saw this in 2023 as a 2024 release, I wanted to buy it so bad. I wanted to buy it so bad. But I could not figure out a way to use it in my system because I felt pretty good at the time of the Hobonichi release in where I was with my planning system, and I just could not figure out how to make a A5 Hobonichi Han Techo fit into my lineup. Here we are, fast forward a year later, and I'm going to be honest with you, I have regretted the decision not to buy that Hobonichi Liberty Fabrics pattern over and over again. Every time I see someone with that planner, I regret because it was beautiful. It was an absolutely beautiful pattern. All right, so fast forward to the 2025 planner release. Here in 2024, Hobonichi releases this line and this design. This is the Liberty Fabrics for 2025 pattern. And I felt exactly the same way about this pattern as I did the 2024 pattern. I absolutely love it. I am a sucker for this floral linen feel cover. I just think this pattern is so gorgeous. I'll hold it up close so you can really get a look at it. The colors are beautiful. The intricate floral pattern is beautiful. And I just, again, fell in love with the Liberty Fabrics design. And I could not face another year of regret for not purchasing this pattern. So I went ahead and got not one, not two, but 3 Hobonichi planners in this pattern. And now I am faced with the decisions about how I'm going to use them. I've done a little bit of thinking about it. I'm going to go one by one and kind of talk through how I'm thinking about using these. So let's start with the A5 Hobonichi Techo Han, H-O-N. So if you are familiar at all with Hobonichi planners, you will know the Hobonichi cousin, which is the sort of original Techo. It has a manila folder colored cover in paper. It's A5 size. It's a behemoth of a planner because it has monthly sections, weekly sections, and daily pages that are dated. It's got very unique paper. It's got the Tomoe River paper, and it's sort of a flagship product for Hobonichi. This line is very similar as far as the inside goes, but the outside is a little different. Whereas the Hobonichi cousins, the traditional Hobonichi cousins, have a paper, sort of tan, beige, manila folder covered, colored paper cover. These are the Han line, H-O-N, and they have a harder cardboard cover. Some of them are leatherette feeling covers. This one is in the Liberty Fabrics pattern, and it has the fabric cover, harder cover, with the, hopefully you can see the foiling, the 2025 foiled date on the front. So The difference is really in the outside. In the inside, it's very similar to the Hobonichi Cousin. It does have this really nice sort of tan interior lining, but you've got your year at a glance page, 2025, 2024, 2026. You've got your, what I call the yearly index. So these, you can use this like a future log or habit tracking. You've got your months, first 6 months, second 6 months, and then you've got your monthly calendars. These are big old blocks, lots of space over here, space down here, Monday start. You've got your weekly section, which is a vertical weekly. You've got mini calendar over here, Monday start, one column for each day plus a column for notes. You've got your time strips here, and then you have your daily pages, which is 1 page per day, dated, and then your little sort of quotes down here at the bottom. This is the English version, so the quotes are in English. Quite frankly, I don't care about the quotes. I've never cared about the quotes. I typically cover it up. I don't mind them. They sort of fade into the background. I just consider that to be decoration space, not usable writing space. In the back, you do have some specific pages, like an address section, some gifts, a 365-day checkoff sheet, some notes, just a few handful, my 100 list. There's all kinds of great ideas to use this. Just a few handful of pages, but for the most part, it's dailies, monthlies, weeklies. So I have been doing some brainstorming about how I might use this planner. As you all know, in my current planner system, I have an A5. It is a bullet journal, and I'm using it for memory keeping right now, and I'm actually really enjoying using it for memory keeping. I am thinking about making this a memory keeper for 2025, and here are some of the ways I'm thinking about using it. So for this year at a glance page, there's a few things that I might want to track here. Probably for 2026, nothing. I may even cover this up. I have no use for this at all. For the 2024 past year, I would probably cover this up as well. So this page would be either notes or a quote, something like that. For 2025, the year at a glance, I thought about tracking the nights that we have family dinners together. So the nights that we actually sit down and eat dinner together, those are precious. I thought about tracking that here, or something else family related here, where I could just take a dot marker and make a dot over each one of the days to track something like that. I really want this book to be, the theme of this book is memory keeping for our family, and for myself personally, but also for the family as a whole. So I would really like to track something family related here. I don't need birthdays. I don't need that type of stuff. So something tracking related there. For the yearly index, I love to track the weather. And you all have seen in my A6, my current A6 Stology flip-throughs, that I am keeping detailed weather tracking in this notebook by using a little calendar, writing the high and low temperature, tracking what the actual weather was. Was it rainy, sunny, partly cloudy? And then maybe a couple of notes, isolated showers, things like that. This is the beginning of October. I also have the month of September that's completely filled out. So I love doing this. I absolutely love doing this. And I'm thinking about using this section for weather and kind of like getting all into it. So I thought I would color code based on the conditions. So maybe sunny is yellow, partly cloudy is light blue, cloudy is gray. So some sort of color code like that. Then I could actually highlight the days. You've got, if you're not familiar with this, I'll bring it up closer. So you've got the month a little section here that you kind of have 3 bullets, but you could really do whatever you wanted to here. Then you have 1 line a day. So the 1st of May is a Thursday, the 8th of May is a Thursday, the 20th of May is a Tuesday. So for weather tracking, if the 1st of May was a sunny day, I would highlight that line yellow. And I think that would give me sort of a really nice visual of highlights to see, you know, how much yellow is on the page, how much gray is on the page. In addition to that, I'd like to write on the line the high temperature and low temperature for each day. Potentially track down here like total rainfall, any notable weather events, perhaps up here some weather predictions. I thought about getting the Farmer's Almanac and sort of putting in what the almanac predicts, tracking how accurate it was down below. So those are kind of my ideas. I'd like to sort of use this section for weather because I do get so much enjoyment out of it. It's also something that I can go back in time. If I miss a day, it's fine. I can always go back and see what the weather was. And so that means that I don't, if I get really busy and I miss a day or 2 or 3 or even a week, I can always come back and fill this in. So that's my thoughts about this. Let me know, do you track the weather? Any additional things you think I might ought to track here? Any different ways to track? Any notes I should include? Love to hear your ideas there. All right, the next section in this planner begins the monthly calendars. It actually starts with the December 2024 monthly calendar. I have no need to use a December 2024 monthly calendar here because I won't start using this planner until January. I'm going to finish out the year in my current system. So I won't have a need for this calendar, which means I can do something else here. I could do something else with this space. My initial thought was to cover it with some quotes or, you know, some sort of, I don't know, some decor, printed on sticker paper, put it down here. So I don't know what exactly to do with this, but I would love to hear your ideas. Any thoughts about what I should put here? Any tracking? Maybe something related to the weather tracking since it immediately follows that section. Is there anything, you know, maybe my key could go here? Moon phases? Who knows? Just thinking about ideas of what I could do with this page other than the December calendar, because obviously I won't need it. In the monthly section, what I plan to do in the monthly calendars is a couple of things. I'm going to keep a record of the high level things that happened, like birthdays, family events, you know, doctor's appointments, because that's good information to have memory of. I'd like to use stickers in this section to sort of mark out events. I'd like to have something in every day. So that means where there's really nothing going on, I could also use it as a gratitude or just a highlight of the day. News events, world news events, local news events, just having one something on every day, whether it's a sticker or some words I write in, a doodle, something especially reflecting what happened in our lives for each day of the month. There won't be a lot of detail here. I'd like to keep it pretty simple and minimal, just one thing in each of the boxes, but enough to be able to tell us what happened. Maybe some decoration around the monthly calendar. I'm looking at some different options for decorating, but maybe giving a little bit of decor to this page because I do plan to use stickers in the boxes, so maybe a little bit of decor around the edge. But that's kind of my intent for the monthly calendars, is to keep it high level, but so that you could look at a glance and quickly tell what happened. Now let me flip over. So when you get to December of 2025 and turn the page, you actually have 3 extra monthly calendars. You've got the January 2026, the February 2026, and the March 2026. I will not plan to use these for actual calendars because I'm certain by January of 2026, I'm going to be moved into something new. At the beginning of the year, I'm going to want to start fresh. So this gives me another opportunity to do something different here. And what I'd like to do with these pages, given that there are 3 spreads all together, is use these for goals. So I would actually like to cover up this probably with sticker paper, making sure that I can't see, what's behind it. Cover it up with sticker paper. I'd like to make this January for my word of the year and my overarching goals for the year. And then use these next 4 pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, for quarterly breakdowns of my goals. So this would be, I would cover it again with sticker paper. This would be first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter, listing out what I hope to accomplish in goals. I feel like that's a great thing to capture in my memory keeper for the year 2025. I definitely want to know what my goals were, keep track of my progress, have a place that is sort of the record of the goals that I had and what I was able to accomplish. So that feels like a great use for these pages that I will not be using as intended. Okay, then when we turn the page, we get to the weekly section, and the weekly sections actually start right at the beginning of the year, and I believe they end right at the end of the year. Yeah, so the last weekly the first weekly section, first weekly spread is the first week of the year, beginning with December 30th, ending with January 5th of 2025, and then the last weekly spread is December 29th, 2025 through Sunday, January 4th of 2026. So you have all of your weeks here. The way I am thinking about using this is to capture memories from each day. Highlights of the week, news and events, prayer, request, and answers. I'd like to use stickers. I'd like to use washi and color. I'd like to expand on some of the things I'm capturing in the monthly calendar and provide a little bit more detail, a couple sentences about certain things. Maybe I don't have anything for the day, so I just put a sticker or a strip of washi, but I'd like to expand a little bit more on what happened in our lives on these days. So that's my thoughts for the weeks. Now, I will say in the past, I have gotten a little overwhelmed when it comes to, because this planner has so many sections, I've gotten a little overwhelmed when it comes to having monthly, weekly, and daily pages. Making sure that it's not duplicative, but also enjoying the process. So the weekly section is where I feel like I can give myself a little grace. If I just have a really busy week, I might just write busy across it and rely on my monthly pages and my daily pages to sort of carry the memory keeping torch for that week. So grace in the weekly pages is how I plan to attack that. All right, let's talk about the dailies. Okay, between the last weekly page and the beginning of the daily pages, there is this 2-page spread called Turning the Page to a New Year. So you can kind of use this for whatever you want. You do have little monthly calendars here, which are December 2024 and January 2025. Little calendar, at-a-glance calendars down here in the page. I am thinking about listing out journal prompts, probably 4 columns of journal prompts here. Pinterest is a wealth of journal prompts. You can find all kinds of journal prompts there. I'm thinking about listing them here as a reference and a tool for those times in my daily pages where I don't have anything to write. I would come here and just grab a journal prompt and use that. So I'd like to try to get at least 52. That's 1 per week. That would give me, once a week, maybe even to fill up 2 pages in the week, come here and grab a journal prompt. So that's what I'm thinking about here. I think that will be a good resource for me if I just don't know how to use the daily pages. And then we have get into the daily pages. At the beginning of the month, for each of the daily page sections, there's a blank page for the month. So January, and then just to show you, here's one for February. They're not always on the left-hand side, depends on when the month starts. Let's see if I can find one that's on the other side of the page. Okay, here's April on this side. The way I plan to use these pages is to actually print out my little photos using my Canon Ivy, which I absolutely love. Print out my little photos as memories from the month and put them right in here. So just to make this a little collage. The other thing I can do if I don't, because these are a little bit thick. So if I find that that is bulking up the planner too much, then I can also just use Canva to create an A5 sized memory board with photos and then sort of a collage, print that out on sticker paper and then paste it in here. So that's what I plan to do for the opening page to each month. For the daily pages, this is where kind of anything goes. I have in the past really enjoyed watercoloring and art and drawing and sketching, long form journaling, writing stories, using journaling prompts, doing collages, making lists, just writing out prayers, kind of anything goes here. So I'm going to give myself permission to do whatever I want to in these pages. I'm not going to be afraid of blank pages because that's going to happen. And I feel like blank page, you know, some folks are very, and I have in the past too, been very afraid of blank pages. Blank pages are a reflection of memory of that part of your life as well. So sometimes you just have blank pages in life. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. Of course, there's some extras back here in the back. I haven't given this much thought, but that is what I'm thinking about for this Hobonichi Han A5. I think this is going to be taking the place of what is currently my bullet journal, and really being the archive of our lives in 2025. That's my thoughts for this one. All right, let's talk about the A6, which is the little baby daughter or baby cousin of the A5. They are such a cute little set. This A6 is also the Hobonichi Han. The A6 differs in the makeup on the inside from the A5. The setup is a little different. I got the A6 as an afterthought. I started actually with the A5 and the Weeks, but then I went back and got the Han. And I actually got all of these off of Amazon. I will link them down below. I don't know if they are still going to be available by the time this video posts, but I will try to link them if I can. So if you've been around this channel, you know that I have really been enjoying my little A6 Stology. This thing has been sort of a ride or die every day. Everything from messy notes and lists to actual planning, memory keeping, weather tracking, meal planning, everything in this. I have just really loved having this size notebook and being able to throw this in my purse and go. I am hoping that this A6 Hobonichi Techo Han will take the place of my A6 Stology. So let's talk a little bit about the setup and my thoughts. So for this year at a glance, very similar to the A5 size, however, obviously everything is smaller. So for this, I believe I'm going to use this for a cycle tracker and potentially a symptom tracker. I think I'm going to cover up the 24 and 26. I may actually keep the 24 and go ahead and put my cycle tracking into the 2024. I don't need the 2026. I could do a color coding for symptoms here. You know, like just I'm tracking some things at my age, I'm tracking some things. And so I may want to keep up with that and use that as a very functional thing. When I go to my doctor's office, I would have this, if this ends up replacing my Asixology, this stays in my purse all the time. So this would be sort of my ride or die, go with me guy. So I would have this, and it would be very handy to have that information. So that's what I'm thinking about here. For the yearly index. Now the yearly index is a little different. The space is actually the same size as the A5. However, it's spread over more pages because it's smaller. So you've got, it starts with December, then you've got January, February, March, April through July, August through November, and then December, and then you've got 3 extra months here, January, February, and March. So it's a little bit different. You've got some extra spaces in the A6 size. So what I'm thinking about for this is expanding on symptom tracking and health tracking. So I could actually cover up the December. I don't need the December. I won't be using this planner in December. I could cover this up and put some color coding and notes and a key for symptom tracking. And then use the color coding to actually track symptoms, make notes. You know, there's a little section here. You've lost the notes section at the bottom compared to the A5 size, but you do have some up here. But track in a bit more detail things like, you know, days that I don't feel well, days that I had to take medicine, just some other symptoms that I'm tracking. So even sleep, things like that. I feel like this section of these planners is built for habit tracking, and I would really like to potentially use this for symptom and health tracking. Okay, now I do have these extra, it does come, you know, with this extra section. I'm not really sure, maybe this, I could cover this up and just use this for notes. Not really sure how I'll use that, but that's what I'm thinking. Okay, then we get right into the monthly calendar. This does come with a December calendar. I won't need the December calendar because I won't be using this planner then. I haven't really decided what to do with this. Potentially just cover it up and put some artwork or a Bible verse or something like that. And because again, I won't really need this. It would be a good demarcation between, you know, the yearly index and actually the monthly pages. The intent that I have for these monthly calendars is very similar to how I currently use the monthly calendars in my A6 Now, which is just like a master calendar for the family. It's got events, birthdays, doctor's appointments, you know, things to remember, travel, all of that stuff. Just sort of master calendar, have this information on the go. That's my thought here, is to continue to use it. These, although this is an A6, the blocks are big. There's a lot of space here. I don't know that I will use decoration in this planner as much, particularly on these monthly sections, because these really need to be workhorses. I could see potentially using some larger monthly titles, maybe a tiny bit of washi tape, but these really need to be very functional for me. So that's my thoughts for the monthlies. There are, again, a couple of extra monthlies. So you've got January, February, and March. I think those are the only 3. Yeah, January, February, and March, and then the turning the page to a new year. I'm not quite sure how I'll use these. Perhaps I will use them for the goal planning as well, because I would want to have my goals here with me. So that's another potential use for this. Or I may keep the January just for some future logging, future planning as we head into the end of the year. Not quite sure. So I've got to figure that out. Then we get into the turning the page. I'd like to put in here my reoccurring task list. That is a list that it's a very functional list. It helps me quite a bit. It's something I use very frequently. I have in the middle of my, at the beginning of my A6 Now, a list a bunch of trigger lists, like task trigger lists, to help you remember the things you need to do. So I use these very frequently. I'd like to capture that here because, again, this is going to be, I believe, a very functional planner for me, where I do a lot of the day-to-day planning. So put that in here. Now, this jumps right into daily pages. So what is missing from this is weeklies. There are no weekly pages in here. Right now, what I'm doing in my A6 Stology is using weekly pages. I use weekly pages and then just capture notes on the daily pages as needed. So that would be a change. I think it's going to be okay, though. These first pages of each month, just like the A5, you've got a blank page for the month. I would use this for a monthly brain dump. And then I could create a weekly spread in the daily pages, just create that weekly spread and use that, and then use the pages in between to capture any notes. I could also just use this for daily. So the daily pages could be daily schedule, notes for that day, a little bit of journaling. I do like to, sometimes I run out of space right now in the weekly pages that I set up in my Stology, where I want to capture just a couple of really quick bullet points to prompt me when I come back to do my memory keeping in my bullet journal, of things I want to expand on and capture in that archive system. I could do that here. I have the room here. I also really like that there is a time strip here. So that's kind of nice to have the time here where I could actually list out and sort of time track my day. That could be very beneficial. So I also can see using some of these where I don't really, on a Saturday, I may not have a lot of notes or planning, or Sunday, a lot of notes or planning to do. I could include things like packing list and master grocery list and, things like that. Just those general lists that I like to have in all of my planners. Some contact information, things like that that I would want to have with me. I could also put those in here. So it will be different. I'm a little nervous about this one because this will be quite a change from what I'm currently using, sort of the format and setup. This will be different, so I don't know if this is going to work. This could be a trial. We'll see. All right, last but not least is this beautiful Hobonichi Weeks. I have tried Hobonichi Weeks multiple times in the past, unsuccessfully. I've actually never been successful using a Hobonichi Weeks. I want to use this planner. It's so cute, and it's so beautiful, and it's so little. And it's just this little tiny thing that you just slip in your purse so simply. But I don't know, it's just never worked for me. So let's talk about the format and how I'm thinking about using it. All right, so inside you have your, everything is tall and skinny in this planner. Inside you have your year at a glance. For this, I'm thinking about tracking. So overall, I'll just say the things that I don't think will fit in here that I'm currently fitting in here are meal tracking and content planning for this channel. Those two things I'm currently incorporating in the Stology, just on the next blank page. I don't know how I'm going to fit those in here. So I need another place. So I'm thinking about moving meal planning and content planning into this planner. So with that in mind, here's some of my thoughts about how I would use this. I could track, using my dot grid marker. I could track grocery shopping days, cover up these two and actually include like holidays and special days, things I like to recognize on this channel, or things I might want to plan content around. I could put those here. I could also track days that videos are posted on this channel, which is pretty consistent. It's usually Saturdays or Sundays, but I could track that as well. So a little bit of tracking, not a lot functional here. For the yearly index, so this is very different, very small. It's hard to put much here. And I have struggled to find a way to use this. So you've got all 12 months. You've got this sort of skinny column here that is 4 grid spaces wide. And then you've got your days, Monday, and your numbers are over here. And then you've got your days of the week, and weekends are gray and red. So one page, it's sort of squeezed in. It's got to be tracking that can fit in this small space. I'm thinking about YouTube stats. I like to keep track of YouTube stats. I think that would be a good videos posted, YouTube stats, milestones, things like that. I think that's what I'm going to end up putting here, but I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure about how to use this. I probably have the most questions about the Hobonichi weeks. Okay, and then we get right into the monthly calendars. Now, despite this being a little guy, the monthly calendars are pretty good size. And it starts in December. I won't need December. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. But I would like to use the monthly calendars for YouTube content planning because I really do plan on a monthly basis. When are my batch record days? When are my batch edit days? And then the content that I'm going to be uploading, what I need to be working on for the month ahead, all of that stuff. So that's what I plan on doing in the monthly calendar section. All right, and then from there we go in the weeks. Hobonichi weeks, you go into the weeks. So I do have a couple of extra monthly calendars. It could be beneficial to continue to content plan ahead of time as I think about, different things I want to do, or I could use these, cover these up and use these pages for some other notes. But then, so far, this planner has really been about content planning in the monthly section. The weekly section is where I think I'm going to do my meal planning. So the way the weeks is set up, you've got on the left-hand side of the page, you have your numbered days, Monday through Sunday on the left-hand side. And then you've got just sort of a blank notes page on the right-hand side. You do have some quotes. This is an English version, so there's some quotes down here. To me, this is just, I ignore the quotes. This is just kind of unusable space, maybe some decoration. But what I'm thinking about is tracking the meals, like actually writing out the meals that I plan to cook. I really plan for dinners for my family, but I do like to log what I eat to keep track of that. So I'd like to maybe divide this into 3 columns, track food log, breakfast and lunch, any snacks, water intake, and then also keep track of dinners that I'm planning. And then I'm thinking about using this side for grocery shopping as a shopping list. It's a little small, but I think I can get my grocery list in here on a weekly basis. And it would be nice to have a place to keep this. So my thought is this planner would probably stay in my purse and just be with me when I go to the grocery store. I pull it out and I actually just check off what I'm doing. And then that way I would have a good record of what we spent on groceries, which I have found myself wanting to track that this year, but also meal planning and just have sort of one place for that. That is my thoughts. Primary purpose for this planner, meal planning and content planning. So you've got all the weeks, but then you also have in the back of these planners, in the Hobonichi weeks, you do have notes pages. This one has, the standard Hobonichi weeks has around 73 notes pages. There's also a version of the Hobonichi Weeks that has more notes pages. The Hobonichi Weeks Mega has much more, over 100 pages, but this one has 73. I think it would be good to have a couple of lists I'm thinking about. First of all, some of my YouTube information, could go back here, content planning information that I reference frequently, accounts, things like that. I could include that back here. I could also include a master grocery list here. I could also include go-to dinners seasonally, big batch meals for when we are invited to a potluck or a party, things like that. So I can think of all kinds of meal planning and content planning lists that would be good to have here located in this planner if this is going to be focused on meal planning and content planning. There are a couple of extra pages back here in the back. I haven't really spent much time looking at it yet, so I don't know how I would use those, but that's my thoughts for the Hobonichi weeks. I'm probably, again, like I said, the least certain of this one. All right, so there's my beautiful Hobonichi stack and my initial thoughts about how I could use them in 2025. Honestly, I'm nowhere near committing at this point. I just knew that I could not go another year regretting not buying a planner, and I did this year. I really, really did. I love planning. These planners are not cheap. They're not the most expensive planners you can buy, but they're not cheap, and so it is an investment. I am gonna use them next year in some way, and I'm looking forward to exploring the ways that I might be able to use them. I would love to hear your thoughts about how I could use these based on kind of what I talked through. Do you have ideas for me to consider? Have you ever found yourself just not being able to not buy a planner? It's how I felt about these. Something about these little flowers here. Oh man, they're just so beautiful. I know that I could look at this all year and be absolutely thrilled with it. It's got me thinking about covers and, decor and different things like that. So I'm excited to have them. I'm glad it's only October and I still have time to think about how I want to use them and to get your ideas too. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to Plannin' Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.